All right, guys, we got a wild hand here. Well, it's not super wild, but it's interesting. Tom Dwan versus Peter. Let's jump right into the action.
I really thought you were gonna call when you said 30 more of these, huh? And I was like, oh goddamn. I was like, here it comes. I call.
Get a raise here from Hans, whatever you want to call the guy. The guy with the beautiful hands, clearly, as we look at a queen high flop.
So we go into the flop 4 ways here. The pot is already $22,500. Tom Dwan has flopped a straight, not the absolute nuts. King Jack is possible, but Tom Dwan has flopped a straight here. Let's see how this plays out.
Got an action flop here for sure. Tom Dwan has flopped a straight. Peter with top 2. We have been kind of waiting for our first action flop of the day, and we've got one. Tom Dwan was our biggest loser yesterday, up against the biggest winner, Peter, and it's 2 pair versus the straight.
32.
And Doug Polk is the one raising. Peter makes the call. 92,500 in the pot. Action back over to Dwan. Dwan makes the call. $119,000 in the pot.
All right, so Peter bets out 6,000 into a pot of 22,500 on Queen 10-9 Rainbow. Tom Dwan decides to make a flat call, which I think is the best play. He doesn't have the nuts here, guys. He has a second nuts. There's lots of combos of King Jack. There's all the offsuit combos, all the suited combos. So he decides to just call. And then Doug Polk comes in and makes a raise to $32,000, which is totally reasonable here, by the way, guys. He's got King 8 of hearts, backdoor hearts. He's got a gut shot. He blocks King Jack. All is good. The raise is totally good here. And just unfortunate for him, Peter and Tom Dwan have huge hands here. Peter makes a call. Tom Dwan makes the call. We're going to a turn. Let's check it out.
Blank on the turn. Dwan now 83% to win the hand if it goes to showdown. Peter checks it. Oh, wow.
So we got an absolute brick on the turn, a 4 of clubs. It gets checked through. Doug Polk is not going to take another bluff at this pot after he gets called twice on the flop. Totally fine. Peter's check in position here. He could bet, but I really like a check here because if he bets this turn, I think it's very unlikely that he's able to go bet turn and bet river and get value in this spot because this is already a very strong line, right? Doug Polk raised the flop, checked it over to Mr. Peter. If he goes bet turn and bet river, he's almost going to be, I want to say almost, he's going to be overplaying this hand the way this was played out. I don't think you're going to get called by worse very much at all. He decides to go for a check, and lucky for him, he's going to river the absolute nuts. Let's see how this plays out.
Oh, wow. Peter ran like a god yesterday, and he continues. He checks back the turn and fills up on the river. Dwan betting for value here. He has no reason to think that his straight isn't good. And he bets 72,000, and Peter has the stones. He's got the absolute nutter balls. 191,000 over to Peter. Just a question of how much does he raise and can Dwan get away from it? And Peter checking back the turn, going to be incredibly difficult to put him on a full house right now.
Huh.
There's the reaction from Dwan. Yeah.
Picking up today where we left off yesterday, huh?
Yeah. Just Peter's raising the river. I'm in a spot where, like, how can he have it? But he's got to have it. And then, dude, really? A Queen 10 or Queen 9? I feel like I'm never good, but how can I be beat? What the fuck? She's so fast.
There's the call.
Oh, yeah.
And a little bit of a slow roll as he says nuts.
Oh, my lord.
Okay, so the river comes the Queen of Hearts, giving Peter the nuts, okay? Tom Dwan decides to bet $72,000, about a half pot-ish bet, which I think is totally reasonable. Now, Doug Polk, of course, folds. He has absolutely nothing. It gets back to Peter, and Peter raises to $224,000. And now back to Tom Dwan. So we got to think about this if we're Tom Dwan. What kind of range, first of all, is Tom Dwan betting the river with? Ace-queen is not really in his range because he would have raised pre-flop. And this is a spot where Dwan is not really going to be bluffing here. This is not going to be a bluff, let's be real. In terms of value, Tom Dwan can have all the full house combos here. Every single one. Well, pocket tens, he could have flatted pocket tens pre-flop. It's possible. So he could have all the full house combos here, besides for pocket fours. He could stop queen four suited, he can stop queen 10, he can have queen 9, he can have, pocket tens, pocket nines, possible. And he can have straights. He can have king jack, he can have jack 8. And in terms of a bare queen, he can have a hand like queen jack or king queen. I think both those hands are possible to bet for value here. Queen jack is thin. I don't think queen jack would go half pot here. The more I think about it, I just think it's too thin, the way this hand was played. King queen could do it, but
I feel like I'm never good, but how can I be beat?
It's again a little bit thin with king queen if we think about it. It's hard to get called by worse. Maybe he gets called by queen jack. It's possible. Okay, we'll give him that. King queen possible. Ace queen not really possible. I don't think he's flatting it pre-flop. Let's think about Peter's raise here. Is he ever going to be bluffing this spot? I feel like it's hard to find enough bluffs in this spot. I really do. I mean, Peter could have a hand like ace jack suited or something, or ace jack anything, I should say, that plays this way as a bluff, let's just say. But like, I don't think he's bluffing that hand on the river. It's a terrible bluffing hand. It's not a good bluffing hand at all. I don't really see any bluffs that make a lot of sense here. The way this hand was played, I feel like Peter on the river, it's just so hard for him to show with a bluff here. I just can't see a bluff. Jack 8 is just not going to cut it, guys. Jack 8 is towards the bottom of what Tom Dwan's going to show up here with, and he doesn't block full houses. I think this is just a very clear fold. So Tom Dwan decides to make the call. I think this is not a good call in this spot. I just don't think it's a good call. I don't think Peter has enough bluffs. Obviously, Dwan never beats any value. It's not like Peter would play ace queen for a raise on the river here. He's always just going to flat ace queen here. It's not even close. So Tom Dwan has a pure bluff catcher. He's towards the bottom of the range that he would bet the river with. So I think he can easily just get away from this hand and fold. He doesn't. And a $567,000 pot gets shipped over to Peter, and that's that. If you like videos like this, leave a like, subscribe to our channel, comment down below. We're going to be posting a lot more cash game videos, big pots, crazy pots.
Oh, wow. He calls the nuts. 1.6 million.
Don't want to miss it, so subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.